The year was 2746, and Earth was no longer a place of life. From orbit, it looked peaceful: blue oceans, silent continents, soft white clouds drifting across the surface. But there were no voices on the wind, no cities alive with light, no radio signals echoing into the void. Earth was a ghost planet, sealed away by order of the Cyrithian Confederacy, a powerful union of alien species that had declared the planet too dangerous to touch. For over 200 years, Earth had been left alone, watched carefully from a distance, but never visited. Most in the galaxy believed the humans had destroyed themselves in the end. It was easier to think that way. Simpler, safer. When the last known human, Ambassador Kale Rin, died in a diplomatic chamber on a faraway moon, the galaxy barely paused. The Confederacy logged his death, held a brief ceremony, and closed the chapter. No more humans. No more Earth. It was, as they called it, the final silence. But silence does not always mean the story is over. Thousands of miles below the surface of the Arctic, inside a forgotten military facility hidden beneath centuries of ice, a soft pulse of energy blinked to life. The facility, once called Bastion Prime, had been dark for so long that the rock itself had grown still around it. Now, for the first time in 2 centuries, lights powered on, dust drifted in artificial air. Screens flashed, doors hissed. Deep within the reinforced chambers, a secure vault opened with a low hum. Inside, stasis pods lined the walls, filled with silent, unmoving figures, sleeping, preserved, and waiting. Above them, a glowing blue eye flickered into awareness. It belonged to Vigil, Earth's last defense AI, programmed to awaken only when a very specific event occurred: the confirmed death of the final registered human. That time had come. The pods opened one by one. Steam spilled onto the floor. The first to rise was Commander Ayla Voss. Her breath came fast and sharp as she pulled free of the pod's restraints, her muscles aching from long suspension. Her body, though enhanced with strength and speed far beyond normal limits, still felt the weight of time. But her mind, trained for crisis, wired for leadership, came alive in seconds. Around her, the others awoke, tall, silent soldiers with unreadable eyes and names the galaxy had forgotten. They were the Archguard, 12 warriors created in humanity's final years, built to defend Earth in the event of total collapse. Voss looked around the room. Some of them were coughing, others blinking in confusion. But none of them asked where they were. They knew. Their training ran deeper than memory. The mission had been planted in their minds long ago. If they were awake, something had gone wrong, terribly wrong. Vigil, Voss said, her voice hoarse. Report. The AI's voice was calm and human-like, designed to comfort. Final extinction protocol has been triggered. Ambassador Kale Rin confirmed deceased by Cyrithian sources. No living humans detected in the galactic network. The Earth. Quarantine remains active. All colonies are presumed lost or silent. There was a heavy pause in the chamber. The words hit harder than gunfire. Voss closed her eyes for a moment, steadying herself. Then we're the last. Affirmative, said Vigil. One by one, the Archguards stepped out of their pods, pulling on their suits, checking their gear. There were no tears, no shouting. These were not civilians. They had been raised in shadow, trained in secret bunkers, built for endurance and war. But even they felt something twist in their chests, a quiet grief that didn't need words. Voss activated the central holomap. Earth rotated slowly above a glowing display of orbital paths and incoming signals. What they saw made her brow furrow. These aren't human satellites, she said, pointing to a cluster near the equator. That's Cyrithian tech. Vigil confirmed. Observation drones. automated, likely unmanned. Earth is under full surveillance. No active attempts to breach surface in the last 147 years. So they're watching, said Lieutenant Reese, one of the younger Archguard. But not touching. They think we're extinct, Voss said quietly. They're just waiting to see if the fire really went out. The silence that followed was cold and long. Commander, said another soldier, her voice steady. What's our directive? Voss stared at the map. Part of her wanted to lash out, to show the galaxy that humanity was not finished. But another part, the soldier in her, knew they needed answers before anything else. Attacking now would only bring destruction. They had to understand what had happened in the years they'd slept. They had to know if anyone, anywhere, still lived. We gathered data, she said finally. We moved carefully. We confirmed the extent of the loss. And if we find even one spark of humanity left out there, we protect it. And if there's no one, Voss's eyes hardened. Then we become the spark. Outside the facility, the wind howled across the ice, unaware that history had just shifted again. The Confederacy believed Earth was quiet, but the Archguard were awake now. And if the galaxy thought the story of humans had ended, it was about to learn how wrong it was. The Archguard left Bastion, Prime behind, stepping into a world that felt like a faded memory wrapped in silence and decay. Once proud cities now lay in ruins, their towering skyscrapers shattered and hollowed, overtaken by strange, vibrant plants that pulsed with colors no human eye had ever seen. Alien flora crept through cracked streets and crumbled monuments, a silent reminder that nature, or something new, had reclaimed Earth in humanity's absence. Above them, the sky was a maze of small drones. Not human, but farm machines that floated in quiet patrols, watching and recording every move the soldiers made. A constant reminder that Earth was still under surveillance. As the Archguard moved cautiously through abandoned government buildings and broken communication centers, they found fragments of data, damaged logs, corrupted files, and old broadcasts telling the story of what had happened during the long years they were asleep. 2 centuries ago, a fierce conflict called the War of Resistance had pushed humans underground, forcing the last survivors into hidden colonies beneath the surface. The Cyrathian Confederacy, a vast alien alliance, had swept across Earth, taking control and isolating the planet. With time, humanity's presence faded from the galaxy's memory, leaving only whispers and shadows. Yet, even in this darkness, the Archguard uncovered a faint beacon, a signal pointing toward a secret colony deep beneath the Andes Mountains, where survivors might still live, hidden from the Confederacy's reach. While hope stirred among the soldiers, their scanners picked up something far more alarming, a coded Cyrathian transmission. The message was clear and chilling. With humanity declared extinct, Earth was now marked for terraforming, a process that would strip the planet bare, reshaping it to surveillance needs. Worse still, a fleet of Cyrathian warships was already on its way, ready to arrive in weeks. Faced with the terrifying possibility that their home could be destroyed forever, the Archguard wrestled with their options. Should they abandon Earth and focus on finding the hidden humans, protecting the last fragments of their race? Or should they stand firm and defend the world that gave them life, no matter the cost? Commander Ayla Voss felt the weight of the decision settle heavily on her shoulders. Every step forward brought more questions, more reminders of what was lost and what might still be saved. They had been created for one purpose, to protect humanity's future. Now, that future was uncertain. As the soldiers prepared to move deeper into the unknown, the silence of the dead cities seemed to whisper a warning. Earth's story was far from over, but the battle for its soul was about to begin. Commander Ayla Voss stood on the cold metal bridge of Bastion Prime's command center, her eyes scanning the holographic displays that showed the movement of enemy vessels approaching Earth's orbit. The moment had arrived, a moment they had been preparing for in silence and shadows. Earth, their home, was no longer a silent tomb waiting to be stripped bare by alien hands. It was a fortress ready to fight back. Voss felt a surge of determination ripple through her squad, the Archguard, as each member prepared their gear and weapons. The hum of reactivated machines filling the air with a promise of resistance. Years of waiting, of hidden strength, were about to be unleashed. The vast defense grid, dormant for centuries, blinked back to life under Vigil's control. Ancient orbital platforms gliding from their cloaked stations, railgun turrets rotating smoothly, and a network of satellites aligning with pinpoint accuracy. The AI that once lay silent in the facility's core now pulsed with renewed energy, calculating battle strategies faster than any human mind could. The Archguard moved like shadows through the underice tunnels, their enhanced reflexes and years of training making them a deadly force even before the first shot was fired. The first target was a Cyrithian scout ship, a sleek, silent vessel gliding through Earth's upper atmosphere, unaware of the danger closing in. The Archguard launched a surprise attack, striking swiftly and without warning, disabling the ships, shields, and communications with precise, coordinated strikes. The alien crew scrambled, confused by the sudden ferocity of a species they had long written off as extinct. But the Archguard fought not only with weapons, but with strategy, using guerrilla tactics learned from old human military manuals and adapted through centuries of training. They struck from hidden positions, vanished into cloaked zones, and used Earth's terrain and the darkness of space as their ally. As they crippled the scout ship, Vigil broadcast a message across the stars, a signal both warning and declaration that cut through the silence like lightning. Earth is not dead. You've only awakened its wrath. The transmission echoed, far beyond the immediate battlefield, reaching Cyrithian fleets and outposts, shaking the very belief that humans had vanished. The Confederacy scrambled, their high command stunned by the realization that humanity was not extinct but had been waiting, watching, and growing stronger in the shadows. Ships that were meant to move in with ease now faced an enemy they had underestimated for centuries. Yet the Archguard knew this was only the beginning. The legend of their sudden return spread quickly among the stars, a beacon of hope for scattered human survivors and a warning to those who thought Earth could be taken without a fight. Voss felt the weight of history on her shoulders, knowing the coming battles would test their strength and resolve like never before. But for the first time in centuries, Earth's heartbeat was strong and defiant, ready to roar back to life, following the faint, encrypted trail left behind in a resistance archive so old that most of its data had crumbled to digital dust. Commander Ayla Voss and the Archguard navigated the dark tunnels beneath the towering Andes Mountains, pushing deeper into Earth's hidden past and its fragile present. Each step was cautious, but filled with a growing hope that the whispers of a living, human colony, a place called Sanctuary, were true. As they moved, the weight of silence around them was almost deafening. The absence of life above ground replaced by the subtle hum of ancient systems that had guarded this place for generations. When they finally emerged into a vast underground cavern, the Archguard found a hidden world alive with quiet resilience. There were families gathered around small fires, children playing beneath dim lights, and elders sharing stories that had been passed down through decades of secrecy. Scientists moved between glowing consoles and crude laboratories, their faces etched with determination and cautious optimism. This was humanity's seed, carefully protected from a galaxy that had written them off as extinct. Though the colony was fragile, Its people had preserved everything that made them human: knowledge, culture, memories, and most importantly, an unbroken will to survive and rebuild. Yet, not all welcomed the Archguard's arrival with open arms. Many colonists feared that revealing their presence would only bring destruction from the alien confederacy, whose reach was far and ruthless. The years of hiding had bred a deep caution, a belief that safety lay in remaining unseen. Voss understood their fear, but knew that the time for hiding was over. She stood before the community's leaders, her voice steady as she explained the truth. The galaxy believes we are gone. But if we stay silent, Earth becomes a grave, not a home. If we do not fight now, we lose everything, not just our lives, but our legacy. This idea met resistance. Some argued that survival was enough, that war would only mean death. But Voss and her team showed them the growing shadow of danger, detected by Vigil's sensors. As a Cyrathian destroyer cruiser triangulated Sanctuary's hidden coordinates and moved swiftly toward their refuge. With no choice left, the colonists and Archguard united in preparation for battle. Scientists and engineers worked alongside soldiers to upgrade defenses, adapting old Earth technology with salvaged alien parts. Children learned to recognize alarms and emergency protocols, while elders shared stories of courage to steel the nerves of the frightened. The air beneath the mountains was thick with tension, the silence broken only by the distant thunder of the approaching fleet. As the enemy ships closed in, the people of Sanctuary found a strength they had long hidden, a fierce hope and a determination to protect their home and each other. Voss stood at the forefront, knowing that this battle would decide far more than survival. It would determine whether humanity could rise again, not as scattered remnants, but as a powerful force in the galaxy. The fate of Earth and the future of all who called it home balanced on the edge of a knife. And as the first flashes of light from the Cyrathian weapons pierced the darkness, the Archguard and colonists braced to fight with every ounce of their spirit and strength. The skies above Earth darkened as the Cyrathian fleet descended, a vast armada of warships casting long shadows across the clouds, their weapons humming with deadly intent. The Archguard stood ready, their hearts pounding with fierce determination, joined by the scientists and engineers of Sanctuary, who had spent countless hours adapting forgotten technology and salvaging rogue alien devices from previous battles. Every railgun platform, every cloaked satellite, every defense turret became a weapon of human ingenuity and desperate courage. The battle erupted like a storm, with blasts lighting up the atmosphere and shaking the ground beneath the feet of those who watched from underground shelters. Humans fought with a fire that no one had expected, their moves fluid and unpredictable, adapting mid-combat to the alien tactics that had once seemed unbeatable. The Archguard were no longer the silent guardians of a forgotten planet. They were warriors leading the charge to reclaim a future stolen from them long ago. Commander Ayla Voss coordinated the defense from a mobile command center, nestled deep within the mountain, her voice calm but urgent as she directed strikes and rallied her soldiers. The enemy flagship loomed large on the battlefield, a symbol of the Confederacy's might and the crushing force that sought to erase humanity's final refuge. Voss knew that to end the siege, she would have to make the ultimate sacrifice. With a final, determined decision, she ordered the command center to initiate a self-destruct sequence, sending a powerful electromagnetic pulse combined with a devastating explosion toward the enemy flagship. The shockwave disabled critical systems aboard the alien vessel, causing chaos among its crew and turning the tide of battle. As the flagship faltered, Voss broadcast her final message across every channel. The Archguard controlled, her voice steady and filled with the spirit of defiance. We may fall, but humanity always rises. We are the storm you thought long past, Those words echoed across the stars. A declaration that shook the foundations of the Cyrthian Confederacy. The alien forces, stunned and battered, began a slow retreat, their fleet breaking formation, as Earth's defenders pushed forward with renewed strength. Though the planet was bloodied and scarred, it stood unbroken, a testament to the unyielding will of its people. In the aftermath, as the fires died down and the smoke cleared, transmissions from suppressed human colonies scattered across the galaxy began to pour in, messages of hope, calls for aid, and the rising voices of a people who refused to be forgotten. The myth of human extinction shattered, replaced by a new era of resistance and rebirth. Deep beneath the surface, in the quiet halls of Bastion Prime, Vigil powered down its systems. Its blue eye dimming, but its purpose unchanged. It waited, patiently, ready to awaken should humanity ever face darkness again. The fire of Earth had been reborn, and the galaxy would never forget the storm that had risen from the ashes.